Secretary of State, ladies and gentlemen, I can only apologize for manifesting myself in this rather distant, disembodied, but very low carbon form, especially as I understand that I am delaying you from your dinner. Never a particularly wise move where farmers are concerned. However, I particularly wanted to send my warmest good wishes to you all on this special evening when you are celebrating the best of British agriculture, so generously hosted by Farmers Weekly. And if I may say so, it is absolutely right that farmers should be celebrated. There is no other profession that I can think of where one person is expected to embody such an enormous range of skills. Not only does a farmer have to be a practical expert, but also an accountant, a marketing and PR genius, a computer whiz, a scientist, a mechanic, and of course, an infallible filler-in of endless forms. And on top of all this, farmers are having to learn new skills, even more so as the consequences of climate change become increasingly real. Certainly, the peculiar and alarming weather this year will have severe consequences this winter for many. But we are going to need to learn to cope with these uncertain conditions and, of course, to do all we can to farm in a way which reduces carbon emissions, preserves biodiversity, enhances the services nature provides for us, and which is thus genuinely sustainable. Now, this is a substantial undertaking, and so I can only congratulate Farmers Weekly for its theme for this evening, Together Everyone Achieves More, because we are all in this together. I have no doubt at all that it is through cooperation and increasing professionalism that farmers will best be able to adapt. That means sharing knowledge, skills, and research. Just for once, that independence for which British farmers are renowned may need to be tempered just a little. Now, I'm being told that agriculture in this country is moving or being encouraged towards ever larger farms. However, I shudder when I hear them described as units. That is the language of the factory, and that cannot be the right direction for British agriculture, especially after so many people, many of them in this room tonight, have spent so much time and effort over the last 10 years or so successfully working to reconnect the public to their food, encouraging them to mind about how and where it is grown, and above all, building trust between the farmer and the consumer. I must say, I think this has really made a difference, and by now, most retailers do understand that the customer does care where their food comes from. After all, if they didn't think consumers cared about provenance, why else would they go to such lengths to market food as regional and local, as high in animal welfare standards, and in some cases, even showing pictures of the farmer in his field on the packaging? I notice they don't put pictures of the food manufacturing factories on the label. Now, I hope you will forgive me when I plead that we not only resist the temptation to describe farming as an industry, but that we also prevent the words turning into reality. Because, ladies and gentlemen, agriculture is exactly that. It is about the land, and it is about the culture that those who work on it create, as much as it is about the pure process of producing food for us all. Now, as I'm sure many of you here this evening will attest, our countryside, the countryside you care for and manage with such skill, is not an industrial production line. Of course, the food you produce is of the greatest importance, but how you produce it actually matters just as much as do the villages, the pubs, the churches, the village schools, the WI, the hedges, the stone walls, and the biodiversity that should or needs to abound in our countryside for our ultimate welfare at the end of the day. These are characteristics that don't fit in an industrialized landscape, but they matter to an increasing number of consumers and they matter to the long-term well-being of this country and its ability to sustain future generations. Indeed, it is why I recently launched the Prince's Countryside Fund, thanks to the support and foresight of a certain number of leading retailers and food companies who share a similar vision for the future of British agriculture, a future in which the small family farmer and the community and landscape in which he or she lives have a central role. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a celebration of British farming. To each of the finalists and winners, I send my most heartfelt congratulations. Yours is an enormous achievement. There is, I think, an increasing degree of optimism amongst quite a number of farmers, and this evening I suspect we shall see why. The professionalism, talent, and sheer hard work of the winners are the foundations on which is being built a vibrant future for agriculture in this country. So let me just close with the words of Thomas Jefferson, that great President of the United States of America, who said, and I quote, "Cultivators of the earth are the most valuable citizens. They are the most vigorous, the most independent, the most virtuous, and they are tied to their country and wedded to its liberty and interests by the most lasting bands." Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a very happy and memorable evening.